We are working on GMetrix Word Expert Skills Review 2. Task 1 wants us to hide grammar and spelling errors in this document. So let's go to the File, Options. We're going to go into Proofing, and then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll look at Exceptions, and we'll click Hide Spelling Errors in this document only. We'll shrink this screen. Go ahead and click OK. Task 2 wants us to restrict the document so only comments are allowed. Let's go to the Review tab here at the top. In the Protect group, we'll click Restrict Editing. And what we want is number 2, the checkbox here, and we'll change it from No Changes to Comments. And we'll scroll down here to Start Enforcing, and we'll type the password below. Task 3 wants us to restrict the editing so that only forms can be filled out, and it gives us a password. Let's go to the Review tab here at the top. We're going to be in the Protect group. We'll click Restrict Editing. For number 2, we'll click Only Allow This Type, and we'll change it to Filling in Forms. And then what we want to do is click Yes, Start Enforcing, and we'll type the password below. Task 4 wants us to attach a template. So let's go to the Developer tab here at the top, and in the Templates group, we're going to go ahead and click Document Template, and what we want to do is click Attach and find the Template 1, which will be found in your GMetrix Templates folder. Now what we want to do is click Automatically Update Document Styles, because it tells us to do that here, and we'll go ahead and click OK. Task 5 wants us to edit the title style to a different color. So we're on the Home tab, we're in the Styles group. Let's go ahead and right-click the title style, and we'll click Modify here. And then in the Formatting section, what we want to do is find Red Accent to darker 25%. We'll click OK. Task 6 wants us to change our subheading paragraphs to have an indent of 0.5. So let's go ahead and put our cursor here in the first paragraph, Health Insurance. The Health Insurance is our subheading. And what we want to do is we're on the Home tab, we're in the Paragraph group. We'll click that dialog box there. And what we want to do is have this left indent go to 0.5. We'll click OK. And we'll repeat that for the rest of the headings. Task 7 wants us to modify the Heading 1 style. So we're on the Home tab, we're in the Styles group. Let's go ahead and right-click Heading 1 here, and then we'll left-click Modify. And the first thing it wants us to do is to edit the line spacing. So you can do some of that from here, but let's go ahead and click the Format here to go to the paragraph. And this is going to make this much easier. The first thing we want to do is line spacing. We're going to change that from multiple to double. And then we have our before and after spacing. Let's go ahead and click the down arrow here until it says auto for both before and after. Once we've done that, we can click OK and click OK. Task 8 wants us to add a drop cap to the beginning of this document. So to do that, what we want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top, and in the text group, we have the drop cap drop down. And what we want to do is click the drop cap options, because it gives us so that it is 0.1 from the text. And so we'll go ahead and select dropped, and then distance. We'll click the up arrow to make it 0.1, and we'll click OK. Task 9 wants to select the text dress code all the way to time off in policy. Be sure to only select this text, because if you select too much, like the paragraph below or above, it's going to mess up your table when you convert text to table. With that list selected, we'll go to the Insert tab over here, and we'll click the Tables drop down and select Convert Text to Table. And all of this should auto-populate correctly, 1 and 4 for the columns and rows. It doesn't tell us to make any changes, so we'll go ahead and click OK. Task 10 wants us to scroll down to the bottom of this document and select name and date, all that. And what we want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top, because it asks us to go ahead and save that section of the document as a quick part. So we're on the Insert tab in the text group. We'll go ahead and click the Quick Parts drop down, and we're going to save selection to Quick Parts Gallery. Now it tells us that we want to name it Please Sign, and then we want to set the options to insert content on its own paragraph here, and then we'll click OK. Task 11 wants us to insert bookmarks for the headings here, women, min, all, casual Friday, and disciplinary action. So let's go ahead and begin by putting our cursor right here in front of woman. And we're going to go to the Insert tab here at the top, and we're going to go to the links group and select bookmark. And we'll go ahead and type in women. We'll click add. And that set our first bookmark. We're going to do the rest of it, the rest of the list here. Task 12 wants us to combine two documents. So let's go to the Review tab here at the top, and in the Compare group, we'll click Compare, drop down to select Compare. It tells us that our original document's the Word 10 Expert 4. So let's go ahead and find that in our GMetrix Templates folder. And our revised document will be the other file, which is the Word 10 Expert 5. We'll click that More to see more options. And everything here looks good. So, because we're going to show a new document, and we'll click OK. Task 13 wants us to compare two documents. So let's go to the Review tab here at the top. We're in the Compare group. We'll go ahead and select the Compare, drop down to select Compare. And we are going to go ahead and our original document is going to be the Word Expert 3. So we'll map to our GMetrix Templates folder. Select 3. Our revised document will be the one with the A in it, so we'll select that. Now what we want to do is click the More button here, because we want to show the markup at the word level in a new document, and both of those are selected, so we'll go ahead and click OK. And then once that opens up, the last thing we want to do is to show all markup. So we're on the View tab here, and in the Show Markup, we actually right above it, in the Simple Markup, we want to change it from Simple to All Markup. Task 14 wants us to change tracking options so that Move From has color only and Move To has the color yellow double underline. And this one's kind of deep in the settings, so let's go to the Review tab here, and in the tracking we'll click the dialog box, and then from here we're going to go ahead and click Advanced Options. And so the first thing we want to look for is moves, and from Move From we want to change that to color only. And our Move To is going to be the double underline, but we're going to change the color green to yellow. And we'll click OK. OK. Task 15 wants us to insert a citation in our footer. So let's go to the bottom here, and I can actually just double click in the footer. You could have also done this from the Insert tab and found the footer and clicked Edit Footer. Now it's important that you do not delete this content control. You actually want to put your cursor below it to insert the citation. But once your cursor is below that, we'll go to the References tab here at the top, and we're going to click Insert Citation to add new source. This is a website, and we'll go ahead and key the information found below. We'll go ahead and click OK. And we'll close out of our footer. Task 16 asks us to edit a citation found in this document. So let's go to the References tab here at the top. We're in the Citations and Bibliography group. We want to select Manage Sources. We want to make sure that we have the dress code once selected. And what we want to do is click Edit. And the type of source, we want to change it to Interview. And then what it wants us to do is to go ahead and put the interviewee as the CEO and our interviewer as Carol Smith. We'll select OK. If it asks you to do this, you want to click Yes. Click Close. Task 17 wants us to add a table of authorities to the document, and it wants us to actually add a quote into that. So the quote can be found under Values and Ethics. We'll go ahead and select the quote as well as the person who said it. And then what we want to do is go to the References tab here at the top, and we want to click Mark Citation. And we want to change the category to Other Authorities. We'll go ahead and click Mark. We'll close out of that. And now what it wants us to do is to add the table of authorities and to the bottom of the document. So what I just did was double click below the last line. And then from the References tab, we want to go to the Insert Table of Authorities. And our formats, we want to select distinctive, and we'll click OK. Task 18 wants us to mark our subheadings as a citation for the table of authorities, and we'll use the category Other Authorities. So what we want to do is just go ahead and select our subheadings here, and we want to go to the References tab here at the top, and we're going to click under the Table of Authorities group, Mark Citation. We'll change category to Other Authorities, and then we'll click Mark. We can close out of that. And what we'll do is we'll do that for the rest of them. Task 19 wants us to mark all the subheadings as an index. So we'll go ahead and select our first subheading, Health Insurance. We'll go to the References tab here at the top. We're in the index group. We'll click Mark Entry, and we'll go ahead and click Mark. And we'll do that for the remaining subheadings. Task 20 wants us to create a new recipient list for mailing. So let's go to the Mailings tab here at the top. In the Start Mail Merge, we're going to go ahead and click the Select Recipients, and we're actually going to type this list. Now I'm going to begin typing the information here. I'm just going to be hitting Tab to go through the different columns. Be sure to carefully key in all of those, because one mistyped word or miscapitalization will mark it wrong. When we're done, we'll click OK. And then what we're going to do is save this to our GMetrix templates folder. So we'll head over to that folder, and we'll name this Marketing Mailing. Click Save. Task 21 wants us to create a mail merge using an existing list, and then we're going to add some features into this document. So let's go to the Mailings tab here at the top. In the Start Mail Merge, we're going to go ahead and click Select Recipients and use an existing list. From here, we're going to need to map to our GMetrix templates folder. And we'll go ahead and select the access file here. Now, what it wants us to do first is to add an address block, and it's not real clear as to where. Let's go ahead and put it in the first line here. So we're on the Mailings tab still, write and insert fields, we'll click Address Block, and we'll just use the default settings because it doesn't tell us what we need. And notice it went ahead and placed it on the first line. We'll go ahead and hit Enter just to drop the rest of the document down one line. And then it wants us to replace this Dear James with the Greetings line, and we'll use the default format for that as well. So you want to select this whole line so that we can delete it using the delete key or backspace key. And then what we want to do is in the write and insert fields, select greeting line here, and we'll click OK because that's the default. And then we're going to finish it off by, we're still in the Mailings tab, Finish Group, Finish and Merge, Edit Individual Documents. We'll go ahead and select all. We'll click OK. And notice it went ahead and populated all of that information for us. Task 22 wants us to create a document for this file. So we're going to go to the Mailings tab here at the top. We'll go ahead and in the Create Group select Envelopes. And then what we want to do is type in the mailing address as well as the return address below. When you're done, you'll go ahead and click Add to Document. We'll select No. Task 23 wants us to create a macro that puts in the urgent watermark. So let's go to the View tab here at the top. In the Macros group, we'll click the Macros drop down and click Record Macro. We'll go ahead and call it Fusion Tomo Watermark. We want to make sure that we store this in the current file, which is the one below, the Word 10 Expert 3A. We'll go ahead and click OK. And notice my cursor's changed. It's now recording everything I do. From here, we want to go to the Insert tab, Design tab, and we're in the Page and Background group. We'll go ahead and select the watermark drop-down, and then what we're looking for is Urgent 1. So we'll scroll down until we find it. Here's Urgent 1. Went ahead and placed that for us, but notice my cursor still is recording everything I'm doing. So we want to go back to the View tab here at the top, macros drop down and select stop recording. Task 24 wants us to edit a macro that's been created already. This one can be a little bit more intimidating based upon the screens we're about to see, but we'll walk through it. We'll click the View tab here at the top. We're in the Macros drop down here. We'll click View Macros, and the one we're going to edit is sizing. So with that selected, we'll click Edit. And notice it gives me this Visual Basic screen. And this one's not too bad. All we're going to do is change this 12 to 11, and we'll click Save here. And then we'll close out of this. And then it wants us to run this macro to the text code of conduct at the top. So we'll select the text, we're on the View tab, Macros, and then we'll select View Macros, and we'll run what we just edited. Task 25 wants us to enable all macros for this document. So we'll go click Files. At the top, we'll click Options. And the Trust Center, we'll select Trust Center Settings. And then all we want to do is click Enable All Macros. We'll shrink this screen so we can click OK. Shrink this one so we can select OK. Task 26 wants us to add date pickers here for the date request submitted and the date requested off days. We're going to actually just select the text date requested submitted. We're not going to do anything with this line that was drawn. And at the top, we're going to go to the Developer tab. And then in the Controls group, we're going to select this one right here, Date Picker Content Control. And it went ahead and changed that to that. And we'll do the same for this. We'll select the text, and we'll select that as well. And again, we're going to leave these lines. It doesn't tell us to remove them, so we're just going to keep them there. Task 27 wants us to add a text box. It's an ActiveX control after if no reason. So we'll put our cursor here right after if no reason. We're going to go to the Developer tab here at the top. We're in the Controls group, and we'll select this drop down here so that we can, under the ActiveX controls, select the text box. We'll click off of it. Task 28 wants us to go down to the Approve section here, and it wants us to select this content selector. And what it wants us to do is remove the maybe option. So with that selected, we'll go ahead and go to the Developer tab. We'll click Properties so we can edit this content control. And what we want to do is select the maybe option to click Remove. And then before we click OK, we want to go ahead and click Contents Cannot Be Edited, and then we'll click OK. Task 29 wants us to edit a content control, so we'll go ahead and scroll to the Reason section, and we'll select this content control. And what we want to do is at the top, select Developer. In the Controls group, we'll select Properties, because we're going to add the option Personal Day. And so down here, we'll click Add, and we'll go ahead and type in Personal Day. We'll click OK, and we'll select OK.